everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you my Easter look for the day, which will be followed by me in full drag, so stay tuned for that. I am right now taping off my eyes so that I can get that nice line that I always like. Just making sure they're even. Yeah, don't pay attention to my pimple there. She is like alert. So I always tape my eyes off because that way when I go to do my eyes, I don't get stuff everywhere, and I always do my eyes first. This one needs to be a little bit closer to my eye. Like there. Because I also cheat and do this with my liner so that I always get that hard edge. But I'm going in with the James Charles palette again, or I'm thinking, you know what, let's take our time with this one today. I lied. I'm actually going to use both the James Charles and the Jeffree Star X Morphe palette because the James Charles one has some pinks that I like, but so does the Jeffree Star one, so I'm going to go in with both of them. And yeah, let's see how this turns out. So, I'm going to go in with Self-Made from the Jeffree Star palette. And I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to try and use my phone for this. And I'm just going to, oh wow. Very pink. Just gonna pack that onto the lid. I'm only doing like 3/4 of my lid because then when I go to do the other part of my lid, I can have it very Easter toned. And I know that it's only Saturday, but some of us don't want to be up doing this tomorrow. Yeah, so I like how that turned out. I'm now gonna do the other side. Actually, you know what? I'll do the other side off camera. Let's try that today. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with the light pink from the James Charles palette with Morphe. This is so confusing because one has names, then one doesn't. And I'm just gonna pack that right there as my transition shade. Before we get all fancy on the inside. So this is what it should look like right now before it all blends out. I'm going to keep adding some of this light pink because I find that it's not as pigmented as some of the other colors. But you know what? It's still a very nice color. And then this is the part where it gets a little interesting because Easter has a lot of colors. So I'm actually going to go in with an orange and put that here. And I'm going to go in with the orange, like the bright orange from the James Charles palette, and pack that in beside the pink. And just drag it up and over. I'm going to go back in with some of the light pink and make sure that you can see the transition. And then I'm going to grab a fluffy brush and go back into Self-Made from the Jeffree Star palette. Tap it off. And I'm just going to fill my crease with it. Okay, now here's the trick, is because this goes from pink to orange now, so I'm actually going to get Lynn from the Jeffree Star palette, and I'm just going to make sure that up here is nicely blended in before I do my eyebrow, like that. So there's that. I then kind of cheat, I'm not gonna lie to you, by taking a brush that's not made for this, but you know, who's who to say that it's made for something, right? So I'm actually gonna use my Anastasia brow thing, you know, with the spoolie on the end and then the brush on one side, yeah. And then I'm gonna dip into Fastlane from the Jeffree Star palette, and I'm actually gonna do my eyeliner with this because I find that I cannot do liquid liner for any reason, but then if I use eyeshadow, I'm completely alright. I know that my first video is a little awkward looking from it, you know, not being sideways, but we're learning here. Still learning. That's all I can say. Okay, so that's how that looks. And then what I do is there's actually this beautiful gold, and it's called Millions in the Jeffree Star palette. I'm going to take the same brush and just pack it on there. And then I'm going to go right here, pack it on. And then I take my fluffy brush again and I just brush it out so that it's not so hard. And now this part has to be my favorite, is when you can see the hard line. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my brow, and then I'm gonna cut and do this side off camera. Yeah, so I'm going to use my Anastasia brow pomade in Ebony. Apparently I thought I had dark eyebrows at one point. I know that my hair is dark, but my eyebrows are actually not that dark. So I then, because I like to use my natural brow, because I hate to break it to you, but I suck at gluing. Like, gluing is not my friend at any point in time, ever. Also, this is like almost gone. And yes, I do know about my issue on my face here. It will be covered up, don't you worry. One of my favorite things though while doing my makeup for drag at any point is I use a lot of Morphe products, and I don't know why. I think it's just because all of them are so creamy. It doesn't even matter the shade, like even their purples are beautiful. Sorry, I'm looking at my mirror down here, just so you know. I just want to make sure that this turns out somewhat okay. Okay, and there's my brow. So as you can see, I have like a little bit of an issue with the black there, but that's fine. I just go back in, I dip in, and I just fix it. That's the thing, is eyeshadow is so easy to fix when it... I don't want to say that this palette fades, because it does and it doesn't. Like, I think that blacks are really bad for fading, but, you know, it is black, and shit happens. So, just gonna dust my face off, as terrible as this looks. Okay, so that's the one side of my face done, like my eyes. And I'm gonna cut now and then do the other half. We're back. So my next step, in all honesty, is I should clean up my desk from all my wig stuff everywhere. I promise I'm not sick. It's allergies. It's just that time of year. So what I do next is I actually go in with my Maybelline Master Prime. I can't say that it's been my favorite primer. It's also not that like tinted. It's supposed to be green, but somebody needs to tell her that it's really not that green. It doesn't really color correct that well, but I can say something it really does do nicely is makes my pores like disappear a little bit. Yes, and I know that my one eyebrow is a little bit darker than the other. That's fixable, like really fixable, like right now fixable. Oh well, we'll call it. How's that? I forgot to add the gold on the one side. So sorry about that, you guys. Just don't call me up for it. There. Now it's a little bit more matchy. I do eyelashes after, I'm not gonna lie, only because it makes me nervous to do my eyelashes first because, you know, you're able to wear them more than once if you keep them good and clean and all that fun shenanigans. But next thing I'm gonna go in with is I'm actually gonna mix some foundations. So I'm gonna go in with my Too Faced Born This Way in Seashell. I'm gonna put some of that on my hand. It's almost out. And then I'm also gonna go with my Milani Conceal and Perfect because one's a little bit brighter than the other. And so when I put them on my face together, it makes my perfect shade. So I'm just gonna go in. Now when you're doing around your eye, be careful. And yes, I do know that it's super bright right now, but don't worry about that. Make sure you blend your neck because nobody wants to be able to clock you. Okay, now when you're doing your eye, just swipe up, and then when you go here, what I do is I actually swipe backwards, and I just don't conceal under my eye until after because, you know, why would you? Why would you waste more foundation there when you really don't have to? Again, back in with the neck. I think this video might be shorter than our first one, but you know what? That's the goal! Also, just don't look too closely at me. How's that? Fair? Make sure you get everything. I actually am going to go over this eyebrow a little bit to lighten it up. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear, and this has honestly helped out a lot. I'm going to do the tiniest little line because, you know, we're supposed to have female features, whatever that means. And then when I go to do my eyes, I actually don't get super close to my eye because I'm trying to keep my eye makeup the same, first of all. Second of all, it's supposed to be blended up, not straight down. I do a little tiny dot on my nose, do a line straight up, line down, and bring it in. Because I will be wearing a wig, I always highlight this part of my face because it's, you know, the most important part of the face is because when you go to do all of your makeup, you want everything to look inward, not outward. So I'm then gonna blend it out. I'm just gonna bake it all. Make sure you don't get any on your nose other than where it is because this is very highlighting. Man, it gets everywhere. But because what I do is I always do my contour underneath it so that whatever sticks to the powder, I know that that's still going to be highlighted. So I know that I didn't put any concealer down here, but I'm actually going to highlight there still. So what I do is this. You always, if you're a man doing this, which again, don't know why you would be, but if you're doing this as a guy, don't even want to say man, because you know, you could be anything. You could be a Apache attack helicopter for all I know. So for anyone doing this, if you're trying to get the drag look that I do, you always go inwards, because you are trying to make your face look smaller. So I forgot to do my forehead. I'm so sorry, you guys. Careful to not get clown lung. That's one thing that is possible. Just gonna dust everything off here that's around me. So next, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take just a small eyeshadow brush because I'm cheap. And then I'm gonna dip in to my contour. Don't look at the palette, it's nasty. It's been through a lot. And then I'm gonna do my nose, but I wanna make sure that it goes up from my eyebrow and down. Because you want your nose to look like a real nose. And honestly, not all females have small noses, but this is a little bit smaller than my actual nose. So like I said, now when this all blends, it's gonna look a little scary at first. But once it's all blended and everything, then it won't. I'm then going in with this brush, and I'm just following this line, and then going backwards, almost like a triangle. And then I go in with the deepest one in the palette that I have, which is this one, if you can't tell. And then I just do the edges with it. Because you want it to look deeper and you want to give yourself those cheekbones. Time for the other side. Try to get them to match as perfectly as possible. They don't have to be perfect, but the better you can get them, the more you'll look, you know, real and not like you have makeup on your face. It's just my own opinion, but no one asked for it, so. And then going in with the darker, yada yada yada, you know, darken the edge, blah. And then going in with the dark and the medium tone, so not the lightest contour, but the one right after it. I then go in up here and just, you know, get rid of my 8 head, because that's where my wig is gonna be. It's so like this. It's not perfectly straight, so let's fix that. And then one thing I always do is I go in with the darkest, and this is where you don't want to use a lot, but go in like that. So you want to follow your contour, excuse me, the line has to go up with your chin, and up with your chin. You never want to follow your jaw, because that makes it more, you know, masculine and feminine, I can't say that word, feminine, there we go. And then I'm just gonna, you know, blend it all out. And this is why the powder is there, is because then when you go like this, it will actually disappear. Also, don't pay attention to my mirror on the back, it's nasty. Also, nobody wants to see my setup, so I'm just gonna. Okay, so this is what our face looks like so far. The next step is grabbing your favorite blush, or whatever blush you'd like, and I'm using Clinique, and I'm gonna say Melon Pop, but it's just so nasty on the bottom. We don't want to talk about it. I've had a lot of stuff spill in my makeup bags, so anything you see, don't follow. And if you notice that I have like this spot here on my cheek, it's just from, you know, me brushing a little bit too hard. So like I always do, I go back and down and then back, because that helps warm up your face a little bit more. And because of the look that we're doing today, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm going back into the Jeffree Star palette, and I'm going to find a pink that I think I would like. Either the pink called Self-Made or Mogul I might go in with. And as weird as this is, I'm just going to dab this right here and right here, and then blend it back, because you know what, it is Easter. We really want to have some different makeup, you know, we want to be able to be seen. So sometimes if they don't blend perfectly, what I'll do is I'll just go like this, and I know that this one won't blend out perfectly, so I'll just take whatever's left and go like that. Take my big brush again. And yes, it's okay to have that line there, because I'm actually going to go in with another kind of powder and go over it. It's just to get some extra color in our cheek. I just poked myself in the eye twice. So I'm then going in with my e.l.f. Prime and Stay Setting Powder. It's like skin toned, like beige. It's the only one they had. It's supposed to be translucent, but it's really not, like, at all. I'm actually going to go in with 1985 and Back from the Jeffree Star palette and just dab them onto my big fan brush. Because, listen, who told you where makeup's supposed to go? Nobody. So I'm, yes, using eyeshadow to help blend. Gonna do the same for the other side. Just dab it on first and then brush back. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with a bigger wig today or smaller wig. I'm then going in with my Sephora highlighter brush. I'm dipping into my Anastasia highlight palette. This is the Aurora Glow Kit. I'm going to dip into... Don't look at this. This one fell out. Shh. No one talks about it. I'm going to go in with Helia, I think that's what that's called, and I'm gonna go right on the line. So, and then over, and then I'm gonna dip back into it, go over, up, and then I'm gonna go into Spectra, which is a nice purpley shade, and I'm gonna go right over again where the green is, because that way when you shift in the light you will see either green or purple or whatever colors you used. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna put my eyelashes on because it's a hell of a ride with those. Using mascara, and I just go up. And yes, there is lashes there. They're just not so pronounced because we are doing a lighter look, as I call this. But, okay. So next, we're going to do lips. Here's my thing about lips, is that I'm actually going to use concealer for my lips to make them as light as I possibly can. As weird as that sounds, because nobody ever really wants light lips, because I'm going to go in with a color. Oh, chose the concealer. Okay. So the reason why I went in with... Welcome back. So the reason why I went in with a concealer is because I don't want whatever color I use to stain. So that's actually a very good possibility with especially Morphe, is they, for a lot of their pigmented colors, there are pressed pigments which aren't supposed to be on your eyes, but they are eye safe. That is one thing I'd like to say. They are technically not supposed to be on your eyes, but they're considered eye safe. They have been passed by the FDA. So, you know that it's perfectly okay for you to use. So, I'm gonna actually go in with, let's give this, no, screw it. I'm gonna go in with Nate, this green, okay? This green right here. And I'm gonna put that on my lips. And if it doesn't look good, then you know what we'll do? We'll wipe it off and do a different color. Oh wow, it actually might look beautiful. Okay, so what then I'm going to do is go in with just any gloss and gloss over it. Sorry about all the people that you hear moving in the background. Okay, so we'll just cut that part out. It's okay. Looking at this now, this is how we look. I'm going to get changed into the outfit, and I'll see you guys right back after. One thing I am going to say is, with the outfit, you kind of have to contour some boobage. So that's what I'm doing right now. If I could show you, I would show you, but I'm not allowed due to, you know, it being inappropriate and stuff. Have to follow YouTube guidelines. But I will show you what they look like in the dress after they're done. And for women that are doing this, good news, you can skip this part. Just have to make sure that they don't look too liney. That's something we don't want. Okay, so now one thing I can show you, is how it will look from afar once I blend this in a circle out. Okay, so now it's time for the wig. Now, I'm gonna put my wig on, and I'll be right back with you. So, thanks for joining me. Yeah, don't pay attention to that. And I'll see you guys next week. Love you.